right, so here is the inflation I'm actually worried about. All right, it's not CPI, it's not the Federal Reserve, it's the lack of competent bodies, men particularly, who are out there to do work. And I said this in my live stream the other day, but I was talking to a guy, a client of mine, who's in oil and gas, and he's saying, there's a job called a fire watch. I was like, what the hell is that? And it's on an oil, an oil rig, you know what I'm saying? One of those drilling things. And this is fracking. All right, so they found, let's just put it this way. The irony of peak oil is so funny. It just makes my heart flutter. All these idiots, we're at peak oil. Now they said, well, peak oil doesn't mean we're running out. It means that we're on the precipice. I was like, it's so freaking stupid, man. They changed their situation to better. It's just, these guys are dumb. And what I mean, the environmentalists, they're just so freaking stupid and evil. Peak oil, my ass. Does that mean we should not try to go nuclear? No, but the whole thing with peak oil is so freaking stupid. Anyway, so this guy runs he's basically a project manager for in West Texas for a well. And these are wells that were previously dry, but now because of fracking, horizontal fracturing, they can find the oil by going to the side as opposed to just down. And there's lots of oil in them there hills. It's amazing to me. But they can't find, it's hard to find people to do the work. And there's a job called a fire watch. And this guy's telling me, all you do is you stand there with a freaking fire extinguisher and you just look for fire. Now you can't be sitting around dilly-dallying. You gotta be on the lookout, because if there's a fire, you need to put that puppy out. But your whole job is to just watch the rig for the well and make sure there's no fire. And if there is one, you knock it out. And I'm sitting there thinking, how? And you can't find people for this. It pays $25 to $30 an hour. Some guy actually went on, he did a comment on the live stream I did. He says, yeah, they're paying like $55,000 an hour, a year. $55,000 a year. And, they got these man camps that they'll put you up in, and I don't know how it works, but I mean, it's like, you can do that 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Fly back, let's say you're from Seattle. No one should live in Seattle, but let's just say you're from Seattle. You're like, man, I got to get out of here and go work in a job with real men as opposed to work for Microsoft with all the 57 flavors. I can go down there, I can work two weeks, make freaking buku OT, work in a man camp, and come back for 2 weeks and do it again until I got my debts paid off. I mean, they can't find people for these jobs, amigos. And that is my concern with inflation. Because you can say until you're blue in the face, well, they can't find people to jobs, so they got to raise the income. All right, well, raise the salary. Let's say we raise it to $100,000. What does that do? Well, that causes the price that you pay for your gas, for your oil, for the products that are made with oil, which is basically everything that you're currently consuming right now. Whatever it is in your hand right now or on your body has been made with oil in some capacity. So if they're paying a guy $100,000 a year to say, hey, come work for us, we'll give you $100,000 a year to stand around with a fire extinguisher and benefits and everything that goes with it, never mind the OT. Well, that's going to be reflected in the cost of the end product, which is your clothes, your cell phone, your plastics, everything, your tires, your asphalt, you name it. I mean, that's the inflation I worry about. Now, what caused that inflation? Was it the Federal Reserve? No, that's just stupid. What caused the inflation was scarcity. Scarcity of labor. And this is where the baby boom and baby bust is really coming to a fruition, because the last of the baby boomers was 1964. My generation from 1964, I think it's 1980 or 1982, I can't remember. But anyway, that generation, there was a significant drop-off in terms of number of people. Significant. So now we are in our mid-level careers. There's a hell of a lot less of us to do the jobs. Many of us did not have that many babies. So the generation behind us, I think that'd be the millennials, there's not that many of them either. And then they say, well, maybe it's the millennials or Gen Z, I can't remember. There is maybe it is millennials. Oh, that generation's big. No, it's not big relative to the size of the U.S. population. It's just not. People say that generation's bigger than what even the baby boom was. No, you're looking at it wrong. Not relative to the size of the population. As a percentage of the population, the baby boomers is huge. Millennials is not that big, just not. So we don't have enough people to do these jobs. A, because so many people are, they're not enough babies. B, a lot of the men out there, because they're low testosterone from watching too much porn, taking all these jabbies, being told toxic masculinity, they all want to get jobs in a call center. There's just not that many men to do the jobs, and women aren't going to do this. They're not going to go out there in West Texas in the summer and the winter, standing with a freaking with a fire extinguisher with a bunch of other men. They're just not going to do it. And now you can say immigrants all day long. I get you. Immigrants don't want to come here, man. I mean, just think about it. If you're living in freaking Honduras, you don't want to come out to America. You'll come do a job, but you're not trying to do that unless there's nothing going on in Honduras. You know what I'm saying? But you're not trying to do that. I mean, that's what we're going to rely on. But that's it, dudes. And then a lot of these jobs, you got to be able to speak the damn language, because if you can, how are you going to communicate to other guys on the rig? That, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're going to say, fuego, fuego. That's it. No, you got to have the ability to communicate, man. So anyway, this is the scarcity what's causing the real inflation, is a lack of real men to do real work. And I talk to this all the time with guys, 58, 57, 61, in manly jobs, industrial engineering, industrial HVAC, all this stuff, freaking heavy equipment operator, mechanic on heavy equipments. They're just, there's no one there to replace them, dudes. Look at that fog. No one there to replace them. So what does that do? Now, by the way, don't forget, you can increase the pay scale all you want. Doesn't mean people are going to take it. You can say, I'll pay you $200,000. Inherently, that's going to drive up prices. But you're still going to have scarcity in the products, because there's still not enough people to do these jobs that want to. They're like, I'd rather make $40,000 in a call center where I can pick my nose and do online gambling than going down to West Texas and sitting there with a fire extinguisher for $200,000. A lot of boys have been so freaking hoodwinked in the modern. They don't want to do this stuff, man. I mean, there's some. I got lots of faith in a lot of these Gen Zs and millennials, but there's not that many of them, dude. There's not that many of them. There's still a lot of clowns. It's the same my generation. Oh. But I mean, I got lots of faith these guys are going to come up. The ones who do it are going to kick ass and crush. But there's just not that many of them to begin with relative to the population size. Anyway, that is my concern about inflation, is the scarcity. So again, inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. The critical component of that formula equation is too few goods. Too few goods being what? Oh, one of the too few goods would be a good, i.e. a labor, someone who's going to do the work. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see ya.